What's up guys, csgo tips number 40, and I'm going to be talking about the 3 things you need in your config in 2020. Now, I should have made this video like 3 years ago because that was probably the time where I saw so many people not have these binds or have these settings down, but to this day I still see people not having these binds and it kind of bothers me, so I wanted to kind of rant and make a video about it. Now, the first thing is probably the most widely known custom bind, I'll call it, and that's the jump throw bind. So you can do this in a few ways. You can use the alias or the 2-key method. So the alias is basically creating a series of commands and binding those commands or series of commands to a button. So this is going to create your perfect jump throw, and you'll have to hold down your mouse button first and then press your jump throw key, and you'll get a perfect jump throw every time. That's not actually a smoke, but just putting that out there. Now, I use the 2-key method because on ESCA they didn't allow the alias. So the 2-key method is to bind one key, let's just say space, to plus jump. You would bind a second key to minus attack. And this jump throw would basically be the same thing. Main difference being you have to press the spacebar and the N key at the same time. This creates a little bit of inconsistency, but it was the only real workaround at the time. So number 2 is R clear decals. So R_clear decals. And what this does is it gets rid of blood splatters and bullet holes, most notably. R clear decals basically got rid of all the blood in the background and will actually get rid of all these bullets, as I'll wait for the show impacts to go away. So I have my R clear decals button awkwardly bounded to mouse wheel up, and you'll see right here all the blood and all the bullet holes are gone. This also applies to the explosion of the nade, the little thing that happens here, and it also clears out the darkened floor after a molly has been faded, so you'll see right here. Those will clear out as well with R_clear decals. The third thing that I hate seeing people not have, personally, is individual keys for grenades. So, most people, or I wouldn't say most people, a lot of newer players or less experienced players will need to cycle through all of their nades by pressing what's default bound to 4 to go through each of their grenades. So you can see I have 5 grenades in my inventory. That means if I wanted to pull out my Molotov, I'd have to press my grenade key 5 times and then throw my molly. You can do this in a few ways. You can do it through the console by typing in bind, let's say whatever key, and then slot. I believe it's slot like 6 to 10 or something like that. But more easily, you can just do this in the keyboard and mouse section. You want to scroll down until you hit weapon keys, and you're going to see under some of these HE, grenade, flashbang, smoke, decoy, and Molotov. You want to have 5 keys, or I would say 4. You don't really care about decoy that much. You want to have 4 keys for each of these grenades. So for me, I have my 4 button as an HE grenade, an F button for flash, my V is to pull out a smoke, and one of my mouse buttons on my mouse is the molly. I also have cycle grenades, which is your default button for pulling out grenades. Default bound to 4, I have it on F3 on the off chance I need it. I also have decoy as F1 because of reasons. I don't know. I don't really need it. But in the off chance I need to throw it away, I can just easily press F1. So I can very easily switch between weapons and between grenades without having to cycle through all of my grenades. So if I wanted to go from my smoke to my HE, I could press 4. If I want to go to my molly, mouse 5. To my flash, F, and to my smoke, V, and decoy. I actually have a few more settings that I highly recommend but aren't necessarily essential. These will help your game out just a tiny bit. First one is the mini scoreboard style, and I highly recommend you change this to just show player count. And what that will do is on the bottom of the screen you'll see how many people are alive on each team rather than individual avatars for the different specific people that are alive on each team. This is useful in the middle of a round where you might not realize it's 2v2, or you might think that it's 2v4 when it's actually 2v3. Those kinds of situations can make a big difference in your decision making or how you play the rest of the round out. Now, if you have the avatars on, you might miss an avatar or not be able to count as quickly. And those few seconds can really matter, especially when the bomb is planted. You only have 40 seconds to defuse. You know, you don't want to waste that time. So just looking at the bottom of the screen, it might be on the top for you. I like the bottom better. I look at the bottom of my screen, I see, oh, one alive. Okay, there's one guy left. Another setting in the same settings page under the team section is show team positions in HUD. I highly recommend you change this to show location and equipment. What this will do is create a ticker above your teammates' heads showing you the name, the HP, the weapon, and their utility. And you can see this from a very far distance through all these walls. There is a cutoff point where you won't be able to see it anymore, but as you can see here, I'm all the way in apartments, my teammates are in banana, and I can still see what they have in terms of utility, nades, HP, etc. This is super useful, especially if you're in IGL, where in the late round you want to like coordinate a strat that, you know, just like comes off on the fly, instead of being like, what do you have? What do you have? Like for grenades, you can just easily look like, okay, Alfred, Smoke CT, Nick, you know, throw a flash for us after the smoke. I don't have to ask them, what do you have for nades? I can just be like, oh, you have this, you have that, okay, you do this, you do that, and let's go. Scrolling down a bit further under item, you'll see always show inventory. This is a little more debatable in my head if you want this or not, but I highly recommend yes. The main reason is that people will drop nades if they have any when they die. So obviously people are going to die every round in this video game of shooting people. So when you run over their bodies, you might end up picking up, let's say, a kit, a flash, a smoke, or some utility, and you might not realize until either someone points it out or you cycle through your nades, which you shouldn't be cycling through your nades, by the way. We just talked about this. Let's say the bomb got planted on B, on Inferno, and you're rotating through banana, and as you walk through here, right, let's say you might have picked up a nade and you didn't realize. As you get ready for the retake, you can very quickly glance at your utility and be like, oh, I actually have a smoke, even though I smoked mid earlier in the round. Great, I can use it to, you know, say smoke spools or do something else. The last setting I'm going to go over is under the audio section, under music. And that's going to be the 10-second warning volume. Now, this is the sound that will play when there's 10 seconds left on the bomb. So, let's plant the bomb. Skip forward a little bit. Now, obviously, you don't want music playing when you need to hear footsteps, but for one, you can change how loud this 10-second warning volume is. Obviously, you don't want it at 100%, you want to do it something low. With 10 seconds left, having that sound play is probably more important than being able to hear footsteps, because the situations in which you need to hear a footstep with 10 seconds left on the bomb is so low that just having this setting is worth it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and like the video if you liked the video.